Cliff Jumper here, aka Brendan, and welcome back to the channel. This is, well, this was my father's 1973 Fiat Spider. He bought it new and drove it for many years before leaving it to me. For those of you who may not be familiar with my story, my father was a two-star admiral in the Navy in command of the Carl Vinson Battle Group back in 1995, and he was killed in the line of duty when his F-18 went down on a training mission. So this is the car that was his baby, his pride and joy. He left it to me, and I've been doing my best to take care of it. And every year I drive it in the 4th of July parade and the Veterans Day parade in his memory and his honor. Well, a couple years ago, we had a slight incident. I'll show you here. Well, we'll start here. This needs to go into the car. This is a freshly rebuilt drive shaft, new U-joints, carrier bearing, and I've got what needs to go underneath. This is all supposed to be one piece here. So this donut joint, it has exploded. That is the original 48-year-old donut flex joint, and it blew up 2 years ago on 4th of July. And the car has been sitting ever since. So I'm going to be replacing that, taking out the old drive shaft, which as you can see is kind of nasty and rusty, along with most of what's underneath the car here. And I'm going to be putting in the freshly rebuilt drive shaft. New, I think a new pillow bearing is what they call it there. The center bearing is right there. So all that's going to get replaced. And if it all works out, I will be driving this beauty and getting her all prettied up for the 4th of July parade this weekend, which is just a few days away. So the other things, there's a lot that has to be going on with this car to get it back to full operational status. I mean, there's rust. I have some new rocker panels, so I got to cut these ones off and weld new ones on. The suspension is worn out. I have fresh suspension to put on it. All of that is not going to happen this week, but this will be an ongoing project that we'll be tackling together, and there's little stuff here and there that needs to be taken care of. Eventually, it does need to go on one of those special racks where they bend the frame back into shape, because it was in a couple of car accidents. Even though it's only got 22,000 miles on it, it's a little bent out of shape. So we got to bend it back into shape, do some body and paint, and restore her to her original glory. But for this weekend, if we can just get her roadworthy, running, then I'll call that a win. So we're gonna get to that right now.
Previously on Battlestar Galactica.
Oh no, everything's fine.
But the animal is inside out.
I heard that. It turned inside out?
And it exploded.
Just hours left before it is time to get this car on the road. They still have to replace the drive shaft and get it running for the first time in a very long time. Will they succeed?
Alright, so I feel like every car show that it has some sort of build quality to it has that sort of dramatic intro, but that's kind of what we're facing right now. So I'm working underneath my dad's Fiat. He bought this new 1973, and I did have the drive shaft off a long time ago. Actually, let me see, 21 and a half years ago I rebuilt it, and it's needing a rebuild because right up here, let me show what's going on. Right up here, there's supposed to be this really snazzy rubber donut flex joint, and it has completely, as you can see, deteriorated, exploded. It is no longer in existence, and so we've got to replace that. So we are removing these bolts, and they're coming along slowly because they've been there for 48 years. They're pretty stuck on. So, you know, my mantra is you don't need to use Kung Fu Voodoo Monkey Death Grip to tighten things, and I'm having to use Kung Fu Voodoo Monkey Death Grip to get these things off. So working away at it, but I'm making progress. I've got a system. We're making progress. And then on the back end, let me get some light back there. The back end, there's just a few 4 bolts that hold the back end of this on. And so if we stay on target here, then we should be able to get it. Sorry, the lighting here. I'm just working with a work light on my back in the driveway because that's what we do on this channel. So, yeah, if we stay on task and on time, we should have this swapped out in about an hour, and then that'll be good. So that'll be great. If we are managing to do that, then we're on track to be having this car in the 4th of July parade in just 2 days. So cross my fingers and we'll get to it and see if we can get that swapped out. That was all the bolts. So now we can move on to the back end of the drive shaft and pull this puppy out. So all the bolts are out now, and I think that if I jack up the back axle, then that should come free. So we're gonna we're gonna give that a whirl. Let's see. It might just fall out on its own. Might take a little convincing. Okay, one little crucial part that I missed. Right in the center here, there's a bearing carrier that supports the center of the drive shaft, and I did not unbolt it, so the drive shaft can't go anywhere till I undo that, but those should be the last 2 bolts holding it in place, and then we should be able to get it out. All right, let's see here. Don't go away on my light. Stay back here. Stupid light. There we are. And all right. Both of those are out of the way, so theoretically we might be able to get this thing moving now. Move a little bit forward on the shaft. Oh, yep, there we go. It is free. All right. Let's see here. Wiggle it out without getting it stuck on everything in the way. There's a lot of stuff up here. And without squishing my fingers or anything. Destroying the emergency brake. There we go. Drive shaft out. Now the next bit of trickery is removing this cradle from the old drive shaft and getting it onto the new one. So that should just be a matter of a rubber mallet and off we go.
2 hours later.
All right, try number 3 to get this drive shaft in. So it turns out that you have to stab the cradle onto the drive shaft before you mount the thing to the donut and then bolt it from the donut. So that's what we're going to attempt to do here. Great success. We have the drive shaft, new donut joint, and I need to tighten this down still, and I need to tighten the back bolts, but the drive shaft is in place, so I just need to tighten a few final things, and we are off to the races. So we're in great shape. That means we will be able to drive this car in the 4th of July parade in honor of my father, who was killed in the line of duty in service to the Navy in our country. So this is very good news. All right, I'll check back in a few once we get this all tightened up and ship shape. of the Fiat resuscitation project, and it is Friday, July 2nd. Ironically, the 4th of July parade is going to be held tomorrow on July 3rd because reasons. I don't know, weird. But, so I am down to the wire of getting this up and running. The drive shaft replacement was successful, got done with that, and I was very excited last night, and then I realized that that isn't the only thing I needed to do to this car. Aside from needing to rebuild the carburetor that's sitting under here, the water, I'm sorry, not the water pump, the fuel pump. This has a mechanical fuel pump. The mechanical fuel pump sits right there, underneath the intake manifold. It should only be held in by a couple of bolts, and theoretically speaking, it shouldn't be too hard to get out, but I'm going to go ahead and I got to remove that, replace the gaskets, replace the pump itself because it's 48 years old and not working that great, and it's leaking. So we're going to replace that to avoid any fire hazards, and then we should be up and running. So got a little bit of work to do before we are there. You can shoot me a direct message. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. You know, you can hunt down my email off of my church website. I am a pastor at Quest Church San Diego. That's questsd.com, and you can find me there. So anyway, we'll see you again soon. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope that you had fun watching this video. See you soon. Bye-bye.